Hey, I'm Christopher John Farley, a senior editor at the Wall Street Journal. Today my guest is Taraji P. Henson, one of the stars of Empire and also the star of the film Hidden Figures. Thanks for coming to the Wall Street Journal. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, let's get right into it. The new season, the new run of shows of Empire. I've seen some of the promos. I've seen the first episode. There's a scene with a bat that people are talking about already. Tell me a bit about shooting that scene. It kind of reminded me of De Niro in The Untouchables a bit, but tell me about the day shooting that scene.
Well, I think that scene was inspired by Beyonce's Lemonade.
Okay.
I gave you limeade.
Okay.
Because she's wearing green. Yeah, I just think it's popular now to beat things and people with bats. So, Empire's a popular show. We're gonna follow the trend. No, I honestly believe that was inspired by probably what you brought up too, but who knows, crazy artists. It was fun to do. I got a lot of aggression off my chest.
Now you're in your third season of Empire. Are you still finding new colors, new shades in your character of Cookie?
Yeah, I am. She's complex, she's very complicated. And that's always a challenge for me because on the page she can be a bit stereotypical. I don't know. I don't ever want to play a character that has no dimension. Otherwise, the audience doesn't connect. People are complicated. So characters should represent what real people do and the challenges they're faced. And sometimes it's not pretty. But if you play the truth of a character, then that's when the audience begins to empathize. If you just play her sassy with the quick bites, no one's going to connect. So it's always a challenge to take a character that can appear to be stereotypical on the page and give it that dimension.
Now, I don't want to give anything away, but how does her relationship with Lucious change this season? Because it enters a different kind of stage, and we see that from the first episode.
Well, yeah, I think you see her trying to consciously move on. That their love is a complicated love. Because it is. I mean, there's so much history there and so much love that I don't think they'll ever get over each other. Not unless they decide to be adults and deal with their wounds and heal them. But they haven't.
How much longer do you see yourself doing Empire for? Because, I mean, you were also, of course, Person of Interest. You were there for 3 seasons before you left. Do you see yourself doing this for 4, 5, 6 seasons? How much longer will you play this character?
I absolutely want it to syndicate. And then after that, hopefully I want to be done. Because I get bored after a while. That's why I'm always doing movies on my hiatus, because I can't just be stuck playing one character. So I'm always looking for ways to stretch myself. And I do believe in going out on top. Like you don't want to wear out your welcome. That's like being a 70-year-old rapper still trying to go on tour. So it's like I love what the women did, the producers at Sex and the City. Great show. It was popular. It was just amazing for that time. And I think it was very smart of them to go out on top. Because I still watch all of the reruns. There's not a season where I go, oh, I hated that season. Because you know what? They stopped when it was time. And I think for a show like Empire, we should. Because, I mean, Cookie can't stay young and perky forever.
Of course, you got a great chance to stretch yourself playing mathematician Katherine Johnson in Hidden Figures, a film that was nominated for the Best Picture at the Oscars. Now, tell me, when you met Katherine Johnson for the first time, tell me what the situation was like and how did it take place? How did that meeting actually happen?
Well, when I got the script and I signed on to do the project, that was my first question. Is she still alive? And then I needed to see her right away. And so I flew to Virginia, where she lives, and I sat with her and her family. And they allowed me to ask all the questions in the world. And I guess what touched me is when I got there, I was walking up the walkway to the door, and her daughters and her granddaughter ran out to greet me, and they were like, oh my God, we are so happy. They picked you to play our mom. Like, we couldn't see anybody else play your mom. So I was like, yeah, win-win.
Now,
no pressure.
One thing I found fascinating about Hidden Figures is that Of course, it was up for Best Picture at the Oscars, and it actually was the highest grossing film that was up for Best Picture this year. Why do you think it connected with such an audience?
It's good material. It's a story that none of us have heard. Only few people know of these women. And it was refreshing. It was like a dark secret that had been unveiled, you know. And I think the shock was, for so many years, we had no idea these women existed. So then there's a hunger and a thirst for that knowledge. And then you see that film, and it's like, well, then what else is out there I haven't seen? You know, so I think right now what's going to happen is Hollywood is going to start scrambling to find other untold stories. And I think it's smart.
Now, of course, during the Oscars this year, there was a mix-up, a very famous mix-up.
What mix-up? What happened?
Well, newsflash. Yeah, of course. People thought that La La Land had won.
Yeah.
Turned out Moonlight had won. And your reaction was very interesting. Tell me about what was going through your mind when that mix-up was revealed.
I was like, where's the envelope with Hidden Figures? Because at this point, anything is possible. No, I just couldn't believe it. I just was like, what is going on? It was just odd. By that point, I had a couple drinks. You know, it's a long ceremony. And so I found myself at the bar, just a couple of the commercial breaks. So by the end of the show, I was like, is that me or did this really happen? And then Nicole came and was like, woo! And I was like, I think that really happened. So, yeah, it was crazy. I mean, but that just goes to show. We saw earlier in the year with Steve Harvey. It happened to him. Things happen. Like, it's an honest mistake. No one went to work that day saying, I'm going to screw up the Best Picture win. Like, who would do that? Honest mistake. That's what makes us human.